Welcome everyone. Eric Thompson here with Subtle Energy Sciences. I'm really glad you made it here tonight. We're going to be here in a little bit. We're going to be doing a meditation tonight for about 20 or 30 minutes on developing witness consciousness. So let me introduce myself. My name is Eric Thompson. I am the founder of Subtle Energy Sciences. We are a company that creates subtle energy products. Subtle energy is basically any kind of energy that's not typically recognized in any of the four known forces in physics, which is gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak nuclear forces. If you've ever heard the terms chi or prana or life force energy, that's subtle energy, and that's what we'll be doing Q&A tonight after the meditation. We'll be talking about subtle energy. Any questions you have, please write them down, and we'll have a place where you can enter those after the meditation. And so feel free to ask any question. So let's just go ahead and get started. So wherever you are, we are going to be meditating. So I invite you to just create a sacred space tonight, okay? Want to make sure that you're in a place where you're not going to be interrupted. You want to make sure that you're nice and comfortable. You want to be sitting upright for this meditation, okay? It's very important that you have your full faculties of awareness. You don't want to drift off and go to sleep. If you do happen to go to drift off while we are in the meditation, that's fine. Do know that we do have the technology running right now as I speak. And this technology will help us all to enter into a deep meditative state. But as I lead you through the meditation, I want you to just go ahead and close your eyes and just let go of your day. Let's just go ahead and put everything aside. Let's forget about work. Let's forget about politics. Let's forget about, if you can, let's forget about the needs of others right now. Let's just concentrate on turning our attention within. Okay? And if you will, just start to allow your breath to slow down. Become aware of your breath. Allow yourself to breathe in deeply through the nose. Allow your diaphragm, your belly to expand. And without trying too hard, just allow your breath to slow down. And keeping in alignment with our general theme, tonight is going to be, we want to make sure this is a yin meditation, where we're not trying too hard to quiet the mind. We're not trying too hard to still the mind. If your mind's still going off right now, just treat it like you would if you were in your bedroom and the television in the living room was playing. It's off in another room. Just let it do its thing. Don't worry about it. You can always pay attention to that chatter later on. Just allow your attention to come back to your breath. Just take a deep breath inward through the nose, feeling the belly, and exhale through the nose, nice and slow. Just let everything go. If you will, just allow your attention to start becoming aware of your heart, your heartbeat. There's something in you that's beating your heart. It's animating your life processes without you even having to think about it. What is that? What is that impulse that called you to be here tonight? What is that impulse that has put in you the desire to develop your awareness? To wake up, to enlighten. What is that? Whatever that is, that's the same intelligence that's beating your heart. The same impulse that's calling you to evolve yourself, your awareness, is the same impulse that's beating your heart in this very moment. So I invite you to just allow yourself to intend to be at one with that which is beating your heart right now. To allow yourself to become aware of that deeper, energetic, spiritual aspect of yourself. Feel the energy pulsing through you. Some of you might be feeling a slight swirling around the third eye area. This is normal when you're meditating with really strong energy, because the third eye is generally uh, the detector of subtle energy. That's what it does. It's one of the things it does. So you might feel a slight swirling right there. So just allow yourself to become aware of that. And again, we want this to be easy. We don't want to be struggling with our minds. And so if at any moment your mind seems to be struggling, just allow it to come back to this place. You can use your imagination as a powerful tool. And one of the things I encourage you to do is just imagine yourself floating on a pure cloud of light, love, and bliss. You can even imagine that your entire body just completely melts and dissolves into a pure cloud of love, light, and bliss. It takes absolutely no effort to float on a cloud of love, life, light, and bliss. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. Just intend it. Take a deep breath in. Just let go of everything. So what we're going to be meditating on and developing tonight is witness consciousness. Please excuse me if you hear any noise in the background. This is my cat. So we're going to be developing witness consciousness. So again, take a deep breath in. Just release and let go. So what is witness consciousness? It's often described as the ability to observe phenomena, those phenomena being emotions, feelings, memories, pains, thoughts, intentions, desires. But it's usually described as the ability to be able to witness all these emotional and phenomena and the phenomenon of thought without identifying with them, to be able to stand outside of it. And this is it's a very important aspect of witness consciousness, but it doesn't tell the whole story, because what's happened over the years is you may have heard the term spiritual bypassing. And often what will happen with spiritual bypassing is people will experience or practice a kind of witness consciousness that isn't true witness consciousness. It's more like detachment. And true witness consciousness is not about detachment, it's about non-attachment. And those are, I'm defining those as two different things because essentially, with what happens with spiritual bypassing is that you can essentially dissociate with all the feelings and the crap, all the emotional crap that comes up, so that you dissociate from it and you stand outside of it, but you're not really feeling it. And what this ends up doing is it actually can make the situation worse because you're detaching yourself from the feelings so that you're not feeling them. And what true witness consciousness does is it's able to stand outside of those feelings while at the same time it's on the inside of those feelings, feeling them completely and fully, and yet not identifying with them. That's the paradox. And that's what true witness consciousness is able to do. And the more that we can develop this, the more we're able to sort of flow with the things that go on in life. Now, I am not going to sit here with you and say that I've absolutely mastered this. I'm in the process of mastering it, just as we all are. Flow with the things that go on in life. Now, I am not going to sit here with you and say that I've absolutely mastered it. So, even in the midst of turmoil and which I still experience. I still experience strong emotions after years of meditation, spiritual practice. But the key is being able to snap back into witness consciousness when you're in the midst of those experiences and being able to feel those feelings fully while also standing outside of them and being able to witness them. Now, in various traditions, there is the teaching that the seat of witness consciousness is what is located in what is known as the spiritual heart. And when I use the term spiritual heart, some of you may think of the heart chakra. And if you're aware of the chakra system in yogic philosophy. But actually, the spiritual heart is not the heart chakra. So what we'll have a little lesson tonight during the meditation. We're meditating now, by the way. Okay, I just want you to relax. Just let my voice do all the work for you. But essentially, in the spiritual traditions, just as we have a physical body, and we have many times the bodies are broken down to three basic bodies. You may have heard it: body, mind, and soul, or body, mind, and spirit. Some systems define the soul as the mind, will, and the emotions. So the Trinity would actually be body, soul, and spirit. And so there's also a triune nature to the heart. And essentially, although they're all connected and they're one heart, they are also three hearts. Just like the teaching of the Trinity in Christianity. In a sense, it's a kind of mystery. But what the traditions tend to agree on is that there are three hearts. There's the physical heart, which is just to the left of center of your chest, then there is the energetic heart. That would be the heart chakra. And that would be the part that houses the thoughts and the emotions of the heart. And essentially, although there is varying of teaching, essentially this is typically taught as being in the very center of the chest between the breasts. And then the spiritual heart, this is the seat of the inmost self, the soul. This is the gateway into the soul and the gateway into the ability to maintain and progress in witness consciousness. So what I'd like us to do, okay, as we're sitting up straight right now, I'd like you to take your left hand and just place the four fingers of it right in the center of your chest. Please forgive that noise there. My cat, I do apologize for my cat. He likes to climb up on my desk. So I'd like you to take your left fingers and place them in the middle of your chest, between your breasts there. And just find that mid spot right between the breasts there with one finger. And now what we're going to do, you want to place your index finger there. We're going to move over just to the right about hardly a half inch and then down about a quarter of an inch or so from the center of the heart and of the chest there. And you should notice a little indentation that your finger rests in. You can use your index finger or your middle finger of your left hand. And that right there is the gateway to the spiritual heart. What we're going to do is we're going to just lift up on that slightly. Pull up on it with your finger. And as you do that, you should feel an ever so subtle lift within you. Almost like a subtle smile. And like a nice feeling. It's very subtle. So what we've done is we just activated that gateway to the innermost essence, the soul, the seat of witness consciousness. And for the duration of this meditation, if you like, you can keep your finger there, pressing upward a little bit if you like, or you can take it away, whatever's most comfortable. But I'd like you to allow your awareness to be centered at this center here, as though you were on the inside of the spiritual heart, just behind this little gateway here. And just allow each breath you take to go in and out of this center. And as you inhale slowly, I'd like you to visualize your spiritual heart expanding in all directions, so that with each breath, it expands more and more and more, and with each exhalation, you're released to spiritual expansion and growth. And if your attention wanders, just allow it to come back to this area, just to the right and slightly down from the center of the heart, of the chest. And breathe in and out through this area. You may notice that you start to feel lighter. You may start to notice a depth emerging on the inside of you. Now, as you do this, you can let your right hand rest on your lower abdomen, like you were almost like you were pregnant and you were holding your pregnant belly down at the bottom there. And what this does is this helps create a touching connection with a part of your nervous system that allows you to feel safe and relaxed. And you can keep your left hand and finger on the spiritual heart. Just breathe deeply in and out through this area, just to the right of the heart center. And so for the duration of the meditation, what we're going to do is I'm going to speak koan-like statements. And as I do, just trust that your innermost highest self already knows how to make sense of these statements. If your mind says that doesn't make any sense, don't worry about it. Just go with your intuition. Okay? Don't try to think about it too much. As I make these statements and ask these questions, just allow your innermost self to guide you. So what I'd like you to do is just allow all of your attention to become aware of all of the silence in you and around you. If your mind wanders, bring it back to the silence in you and all around you. And you'll notice that silence is everywhere. Silence is bigger than your chattering mind. Allow your awareness to go to the silence. Now, what part of you is aware of the silence? Allow yourself to become aware of the part of you that is aware of silence. The silence all around you and in you. Just allow your awareness to go to that part of you that is aware of the silence in you and around you. The part of you that is observing the silence. Observe it. Observe yourself observing the silence. Where is that silence located? The part of you that is aware of that silence. Where is it located? What does the silence feel like? And what part of you is aware of the feeling of silence? Observe yourself observing the feeling of the silence. Observe yourself observing the observer. And what I'd like you to do is just to keep backing up and observing yourself, observing yourself, observing yourself, observing yourself. Observe the feeling of silence in you and around you. And just keep backing up and backing up and backing up in your awareness to observe the observer, observing the observer, observing. Some of you, when you really are doing this, you may notice a surge of energy to stream up your spine, up through your body and out your crown. See if you can feel the part of you that is observing no sound. Be aware of the feeling. What are you feeling? What are you feeling? Observe yourself observing the feeling. And allow this feeling to permeate your entire being. Soak it up. Swim in it. Anchor this awareness and its feeling into your bones. Bathe in it. Observe yourself, observing yourself, bathing in this feeling. Let this feeling permeate every thought, every desire, every feeling, every emotion. Okay, and we're going to start with something a little different here. I'd like you to imagine all the space within you and around you. I'd like you to imagine all the space within all your atoms and around all of your atoms in your body. Now, there's actually been scientific research done on this type of meditation and it naturally evokes very highly synchronous alpha brainwaves. Imagine the space between you and me. Just imagine that space. Swim in that space. Imagine the space between your head and the wall or the barrier in front of you. Imagine the space between your ears. Now I'd like you to allow your awareness to go back down to your heart area, but this time we're going to be in the center of our heart. Right there in the center of the chest. This is the energetic heart that is associated with the emotions and thoughts of the heart. And what I'd like you to do is to imagine an infinity of space inside your heart. And just imagine yourself diving and diving and diving into this infinity of space inside your heart. Deeper and deeper and deeper. And could you allow yourself to dive even deeper? And even deeper still. And even deeper still. And as you imagine diving into the infinity of space inside your heart, what do you feel? Notice what you are feeling as you're diving into the infinity of space inside your heart. Who or what is aware of the feeling? Observe the part of you that is aware of the feeling as you dive into this infinity of space inside your heart. Pay close attention to the part of you that is paying close attention to the feeling. And then pay close attention to the part of you that is paying close attention to the part of you that's paying close attention to the feeling as you dive into the infinity of space inside your heart. Observe yourself diving into this infinite space within your own heart. There's a part of your awareness that is actually traveling through this infinite space, and yet there's a part of your awareness that's not traveling at all. You're traveling within your own awareness. Part of you is traveling and part of you is not moving at all. Observe the observer observing. And as you dive into this infinity of space inside your heart, allow this feeling to permeate your entire being. Allow yourself to soak in it, bathe in it. Revel in that feeling. Anchor that feeling into your body, into every cell in your body. Make it conscious. This is not just a trance. This is not something that we're just entering into with twilight awareness. No, we're anchoring this into our bodies with full awareness so that we can carry it into our waking day. The more we do this, the more conscious we become of our consciousness, the more conscious we become. The more we're able to stand outside of ourselves objectively while also feeling the fullness of our issues from within and not hiding from them or dissociating from them. Soak in this feeling. Bathe in it. Let it permeate your entire body. Let it permeate your emotions, your thoughts, your desires, your impulses, your instincts, all while observing yourself diving into the infinite space within your heart. Intend to anchor this meta-awareness into your conscious mind, into your conscious will, into your body. And we'll end the meditation by giving salutations and greetings to all your teachers, your mother and your father, your children, your loved ones, your pets. Think of someone you've had a problem with lately, someone you've been criticizing. It can be someone close to you, it can be a politician, it can be anybody. And just send that person love without any expectation, just a free offering. May the whole world live in happiness and peace. May the whole world live in happiness and peace. Okay, you can open your eyes and come back to the room. Again, I do apologize for my cats. I hope that wasn't too much of a bother. I do have some here from some of you, and I will get started on those. In the meantime, Joshua will probably poke his head in here in a little bit, and if any of you have any questions, please enter them in the, I think it's on the right side of your screen. There should be an area where you can add questions.
Hey Eric,
Hey,
let me make sure. So for anyone who's in the Hangout with us, you can unmute yourself if you if you hover to the top right of your Hangout screen, there should be a little microphone, and just click on that to unmute yourself. We don't have any questions here inside of the Hangout Q&A, but there was a question that came in on Facebook, and I believe you noticed it. It was shortly before we started the broadcast from Domas.
Yeah, I'm not going to start with that one first. I had some other questions
Okay.
here. I've got 2 or 3 questions from Andre, and he says, does the energy of the collective intention transmitted while the meditation is being done live, does it remain in the posted videos? In other words, is it embedded into the video transmission so that even when we play it back, the power of the communal intention is still there to be experienced? I asked because I downloaded the video and then converted to MP3 and then listened to the MP3 version of it while walking, and the effect was still amazing. I felt something very powerful was being transmitted. So, well, that's a really good question. And by the way, I did forget. Normally what I do is during the meditation, I do a screen share of an image that you should be seeing now. I put on screen share of the Quiet Mind mandala that's embedded with energy. I forgot to do that actually for this meditation. And I was going into a deep state, and my cat was jumping up on top of my keyboard. And I was trying to, I had to open my eyes and realize what kind of chaos he was creating there. So I apologize for that. But so what happens with the collective intention? Is it recorded? Yes, it's recorded, but that's not what you're feeling during the playback. And the reason why is because whenever any type of spiritual energy is recorded digitally, it's typically not very strong in playback. That's one of the reasons why I started my company, is because what I've done is I've created a method for taking that signal once it's recorded, that spiritual energy signal. Once it's recorded digitally, like I said, it's not very strong during playback. And what I do is then I can then take that signal, import it into this proprietary software I've developed, and feed that signal back on itself until it's amplified millions and millions of times. So what you were actually feeling was the energy of the screen share picture that I had up that had the energy embedded in it during the meditation. And so that when you extracted the MP3 from the video, that energy was extracted into the MP3. So, so the collective intention, that's not what you were feeling, because simply, again, because we can feel it live during the meditation, but the digital recording doesn't capture that very much. What it did capture was all of the energy that I had embedded into that video, more or less, before and after the fact. And that's what's actually powering, that's the technology that's powering these meditations. So that hopefully I just made sense with that. So again, it's not the collective intention, because it just isn't strong enough signal during playback. And what you're experiencing is the amplified energy that I embedded into the video. Now, another question Andre asks is, in the last meditation, Eric said he had forgotten the name of a Christian author he referenced when he spoke about his convictions about Jesus. What is the name of that author? The name of that author is David Sereda. He wrote a book called Face to Face with Christ. And what's interesting about this book is, again, I'm just sharing. This is not meant as any kind of evangelizing. And I only brought it up because it had come up in a question. But this is an interesting book for many reasons, one of which is because if any of you know David Sereda, he's done documentaries on UFOs, He's done documentary. I think he did a documentary on free energy devices. I'm hearing an echo back right now. So somebody mute your mic. Yeah. Um, and he's written a lot of different types of books, usually on the intersection between science and spirituality. His father, I believe, was a Buddhist and had been a Buddhist meditator for many years when he was growing up. I believe his mother was also a Buddhist. So he had taken personal training with the Dalai Lama, even, and he practiced Buddhist meditation most of his life. And he had what was more or less a near-death experience during a very low time in his life. And he had a vision of Jesus. And that vision was, he just said, it just became absolutely crystal clear for the first time in my life that this being, Jesus the Christ, was the highest expression of God in all of existence. And in fact, uh, this vision of Jesus had told him, I can't even reveal my full self to you because it will just crush. The glory and the bliss will be so, the energy, which in subtle energy science speak, we call it torsion fields. The torsion fields would be so immense, you wouldn't be able to handle it. It would just consume you. And he said that he was given a vision of seven different levels of heaven. And when he went into each different level, the glory and the bliss became so overwhelming. It nearly crushed him. He never realized you could feel so much bliss that it hurt. Um, and he couldn't even stand up. He was on his face and on his knees for most of this vision because the glory and the power was so immense. And he said that he earlier in his life even had visions of, if I remember correctly, um, Hanuman and Krishna, and that um, as glorious as they were, their glory did not compare even slightly to what lay before him. Um, and so he's not a Christian. That's just he just shares his experience. It's a really powerful book. I do highly recommend it. I do find it very accurate in terms of the phenomenology of profound bliss and glory because it is experienced like that. Not that I would say that I've had an experience as high as that, but the peak experiences that I have had have been so profound that almost my body couldn't handle them. The bliss became um, so tangible and so strong, and the pressure waves that accompanied that bliss were just so powerful that I felt like I was going to throw up. Um, I wrote an article because of it called "The Nausea of Spiritual Awakening." So yeah, that's David Sereda, Face to Face with Christ is the name of the book. Andre asks another question. If we wanted to print mandalas and place on the back of our fuse box door, how many would you recommend placing? Well, if you're talking about the older mandalas from the old site, it just depends on how sensitive you are. I personally would never put more than one, but it's different for each person. When it comes to the newer mandalas, they're really strong. So I would say start with one. Print it back to back, both double-sided. Start with one, and just see how it feels for a few days before you try to amplify it. Because what happens is that energy is coming out of that mandala, and it's going to interface with all the electricity going into everything into your house. So you'll be getting the energy through your computers, through your lights, through everything that's turned on and is powered by electricity. The heat, the air conditioning, you name it. Um, and for some of these signatures, that can be a little be overwhelming after a few days. So I would say start slow. As I've said many times, it's not about blasting yourself with energy and having a temporary peak state, because you'll just burn yourself out. Your nervous system can only take so much energy at a time. Even when I used to meditate with my Shaktipat master guru, there'd be times when he would tell me, you actually need to take a few days off from meditating because your body can't handle it, and you don't want to burn yourself out. The magic is in the consistency and having a nice level of energy on a daily basis, because it's cumulative over time. And it's really the long-term shifts is where the real magic is at. So then he asks, how powerful are the printouts in comparison to the digital mandalas? To me, they're just as powerful, but they're powerful in a different way. So if I print one mandala and I sit on it, it's more powerful to me than if I just pull up a mandala on my computer, because there's no space between me and the mandala. It's shooting right up my spine, and it's very, very powerful. So it just depends. They are powerful. I've had people say, well, I just don't see how the prints could be as powerful. Well, just get over it and try it. They are really, really powerful. Domus asks, is it true that you are making a DMT audio with iAwake? If yes, what happened to that project? Have you thought releasing something similar through SES? Yes, and I will be releasing a product like that. We'll call it Audio Ayahuasca, probably later this year. It just takes a long time to develop. And when I did it with iAwake, it just, at that time, the technology wasn't strong enough so that people could have these profound experiences. I'd have people tell me, yes, I can tell it's ayahuasca, but it just doesn't feel that strong to me. So it's taken me, thousands of hours and thousands of dollars to get the technology and the process and the methodology up to a level to where we can get it so strong to where you can have a really peak experience with just pure subtle energy recordings and no brainwave entrainment in them. And it just takes a really, really long time. And when I tell you guys that I put thousands of hours and thousands of dollars into this technology, I am not kidding. Okay, but it will be coming. Second question: any possibilities that you will be releasing SES audio programs in physical form? Sooner or later, when Digital Shaktipat is ready, I'll make it available as a CD. It just costs a lot more money to make physical CDs. It's a lot more production time, and right now, with growing the business as we are, I've hired a full team, a full web development team, and it's very expensive. So basically, I work for free now. I don't get paid anything. I haven't been paid in months. I paid just enough to pay my bills, but I'm living on savings. So it's an expensive endeavor to build out a whole new web system, a membership site, affiliate system, and all that, and continue building the technology as I am. So right now I'm focusing on that, and we're just focusing on digital downloads to keep the overhead down. But eventually, once we get all this other work out of the way, to where now we have a fully functional site, because there for a while we were getting, people just weren't happy. They didn't like the affiliate system. They didn't like the product delivery system, and we still have bugs in our new system, but because we have a new team, we'll get those eventually completely worked out. And it's going to be cool because now you can just log in with your login information to this membership site, and you have all your products that you ever ordered from us right there. You won't have to ask us to mail them to you individually anymore. So yeah, CD, audio CDs. Yeah, I see them eventually, but probably not in the near future. When Digital Shaktipat's ready, it probably will be available as a CD. And then two more questions from Domus. Is it possible to create digital mandala or audio program for attraction? Something like when a person holds an intention during meditation or visualization that somehow helps to attract that thing, situation, or whatever the intention is. Yes, it is, and I'm working on such a program. And it's interesting too because just so you guys know, I don't. I can hear some of you saying, "Well, why don't you just play your abundance program so that you don't, you're abundant?" Well, part of the thing is because I'm always creating new technology. I can't play the digital mandalas and the audio programs in my immediate vicinity, or they'll get mixed in with the other signatures that I'm working on. And if that would be okay initially, but as the amplification process gets stronger and stronger and stronger, it'd be kind of like mixing vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, pineapple, and everything all at once. And I have to keep a pristine, energetic environment as much as I can when I do this process. So I typically can't play my digital mandalas and my audio programs while I'm working. That's one of, and in fact, when I do play them, it's usually when I'm not working on a new project. So when I'm meditating, for example, and I'm not working on a new project. Yeah, but yes, I am working on an abundance program, an abundance and gratitude. Now the thing about attracting the thing that you're intending, there's a lot of things about that. Sometimes the things that we want we don't really need. Sometimes the things we don't want are the things we do need. What I'm finding is that where the real magic is letting go of our attachments and aversions. And yet, when you do that, you will tend to attract the things that you really desire more quickly. So that's what this program is going to be working on, and it'll be working on really instilling the feeling of already being abundant so that your field starts to just project abundance. And we know in subtle energy that like energy attracts like energy. It's not like magnetism where opposites attract. So if you have a subtle energetic field of frustration, it's predominantly a frustration of fear and lack, it will tend to attract more experiences to reinforce those feelings of fear, frustration, and lack. And vice versa. If you're the flip side, if you're feeling abundant, you will tend to attract abundance into your life, and that's what this program will work on. Again, that'll be out sometime this year. It just needs. I've got to do some finishing touches on it and get it out for beta testing. And Barbara asks, can I cleanse my crystals and then imprint them with mandala energy? Would it be better to put a crystal on one mandala or stack up all the 5 mandalas and say higher mind attributes? If using only one, is it better to have 3 to 5 copies stacked for the crystals? So first of all, I wouldn't say to mix like 5 or 8 different mandalas at once. You really want to focus on just 1 or 2 or 3 qualities. And if it's best if they're qualities that complement one another. It's kind of like an analogy of if you go to a restaurant, you don't order the whole menu at once, and you don't get the whole menu on one plate. You for that meal, you're focusing on a particular experience, whether it be a certain vegan dish, or if you eat meat, if it's chicken or steak or whatever. You don't mix a whole lot. You might if you go to a Chinese buffet, but you keep it within reason, and with this you want to keep it within reason. So I'd say I wouldn't mix or match more than 1 to 3 different types of mandalas, and I would just start with one print of one mandala, double-sided, set the crystal on top of it, and then just leave it there. And now I'm not telling you I've done extravagant experiments with crystals and the mandalas. I haven't. I haven't had time. Okay, I work pretty much 7 days a week, and I don't. There are many different possibilities with this technology that I haven't had time to test everything. But I do know this, that crystals do carry energy, and they do transmit energy, and they do record energy. So you should be able to set a crystal on top of one of the printed mandalas, and after a day or two, or maybe longer, maybe just after a few hours, if you're sensitive to the energy, you should notice that the energy of the mandala is being more distributed around the room through the crystal. And just play with it. You don't need my permission to experiment. Many times I'll have people say, "Well, is it okay if I do this?" And it's not like you're going to grow 3 arms and antenna at your head if you experiment. This is perfectly safe. You're not going to lose a leg. You're not going to open a wormhole with aliens coming out and attacking your loved ones. Okay, so you can feel free to experiment. And I'd love to hear what your experiments are, because you've probably got more time to do certain types of experiments than I do. I don't have time to do them all. I'm just one person. So yeah, just feel free to do that. Start with one mandala, printed back to back, both sides, set a crystal on it, and let it sit there for a day or two and see what you notice. And then you can add more mandalas to it or not. But that should be a good way to distribute the energy of that printed mandala through the room more. Another way you could do it is you could take like a glass bowl and set it on top of the printed mandala, fill the glass bowl with water, and put a crystal in the water so that part of it's out of the water and part of it's in. And that'll amplify it even more, because the water will carry the energy as well, and it'll soften it a little bit too, and it'll distribute it throughout the room. And that's all the questions that I have on so far. We have any more questions, Joshua?
No, just the ones that Domas had as far as Facebook goes, and I think you answered those.
Yeah, I did.
So I'm not seeing any questions anywhere else yet, unless somebody on here wants to ask something.
I have a question about the quiet mind, Alonzo. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
The new one, I just opening it. It's a sizable difference from the previous one. What did you do to make it more powerful, smooth, whatever? Like, what's the change that's so different than the last? I mean, it's the same design.
Well, again, Michael, I appreciate you bringing this up, but with all due respect, buddy, you know that's a beta. I haven't released that to the public yet. I asked you, can you please not talk? I sent it to you guys just the other day. I haven't sent it to the public yet. I'd rather, I don't like to talk about these. It's okay. It's okay. But to answer your question,
you do have some you've released to the public that are the newer style. I know you don't have to give anything proprietary away, but what's a different approach, or what do you do?
No, it's not a different approach. I've just upgraded the amplification process so that I can put more energy into the existing mandala. I've just upgraded it so that I'm able to generate more amplification in less amount of time, and but it's still a really long process, and it's a long drawn out process, because subtle energy and digital, it's like it's one thing to give somebody diksha with your physical hand, but it's another to do it through a computer. You just the signal, and you can do it live, and other people will get it. But if you record that, the recording generally won't carry the energy. Now I know this from experience. I did uh, basically I did a Shaktipat initiation and apprenticeship with a Shaktipat master for 3 years. Most of it was done long distance over phone. Some of it was done in person. But what would happen is as soon as I heard his voice on the phone or on the computer, I mean, the Shakti would just start flowing, and it was palpable, and it would, and it was, it was profound. And but then we'd record it, and then when you play the recording back, the recording was never as strong. And it carried almost none of the energy, almost none at all. The only energy you'd feel during the recording is because when you place your mind and your thoughts on the guru in real time, you're connecting with him in real time. And because in truth, space and time are an illusion, then you'd be drawing that Shakti out of the guru because you're thinking of him. It's not coming through the recording, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I started saying, well, I want to find a way to be able to have the energy in the recording. How do I do that? And I started experimenting, and it's just with the way digital recordings work, it's why if you're at a live recording and it's magical, you're at a live concert and it's magical and they taped it and you listen to the tape is never like the experience. Part of it is because that subtle energetic transference that's taking place at a really powerful live concert, it's not recorded properly on a digital recording. It gets lost. So what my software does is it just takes that signal and feeds it back on itself until it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And because we're talking about subtle energy, we're talking about really subtle signals. Okay, we're talking about super, super weak signals. So it takes a long, 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 long time to build it up and get it strong. But that's all that's happening is I just keep upgrading the amplification process.
Ah. Yeah, think of what you could do with the that's why I love classical, like live classical concerts as opposed to just CDs. And my wife says, "Oh, why spend the extra money?" I says, "Oh, it's just so totally different." But you could make recordings. If this, you could actually make recordings of the Philadelphia Orchestra or something, and run it through that process. And then it would be more like a live concert. Then
that's a possibility. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. And in fact, I mean, I've had occasionally people who, like I remember when I did audio acupuncture, people liked the soundtrack, and then I went and amplified it and sent it to the beta testers, and they said, "You've changed the soundtrack. It's even better now." Of course, it was the identical soundtrack. It hadn't changed
Right.
at all. So there's something about the energy adds a certain aspect. And there are times here when I'm listening to my favorite music and I got a really good energetic signature running. It's like, I get high as a kite, and you get into that flow of listening to that music. It's kind of like being at a live experience. So there are certain type of signatures that we could add to just everyday music you hear on the radio, and it would add a whole new dimension to it, just like you were there live. It would add more energy to it.
Hey, that would be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. So one day when I have enough time. Yeah.
Wow, that's really fascinating.
Thanks, Michael.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I do have one more quick question. That's why I thought that other one I just mentioned was out to the public. You were well, never mind. It's a question for later anyway. But
Oh, is it about beta testing?
well, you're not you changed the way you were delivering it, but now it seems to be back to the old way. I guess is what and that's why I assumed it was
What do you mean?
to the public. Well, you send it in a regular email rather than a link to the beta place.
Well, I just did that because I'm trying to cut down Josh's workload because what ends up happening is I have to send it to him. He has to upload everything. It takes an extra day or two for him to get that done, and then I have to get it to you. And if he
Oh,
gets tied up with other things, it takes it longer to get it out there. So I just send it straight to you guys and let him upload it later um,
oh,
when he's got time. That way it doesn't slow the whole thing down.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
got it.
that's all. Yeah. Okay, any other questions, guys? I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's kind of a quiet day. No questions. Just people have been leaving comments in a few places, but no one has an official question.
Okay.
No, I just wanted to thank you for the wonderful meditation exercise. It was very enlightening, and also as well too. Thanks for taking the time out to answer questions. I really enjoyed this again.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Glad you're here. Oh, I see. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm happy to answer questions, but if I don't hear any other questions from you, or if you just any topics that you want to hear me talk about or whatever, feel free to send them to me. But if there are no more questions, I will bid you all a good night.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.